Welcome to the July the 11th, 2000 taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie. As we bring you the history of some of the things that have been happening in our city and the people that have helped to make that history. They may even be helping to make history in the future, but the group that we have with us today is the Alton family. And we are very pleased to have a very young and wonderful family for our history tape number 401. This is our 401st taping of history for the City of Grand Prairie Archives. And we're delighted, first of all, to bring to you the master of the house, Jason. Jason Alton. Welcome to the set, young man.
Thank you very much. It's
yes.
Good to be back.
And to your immediate right is a very special young man, Stetson. We are so glad to have you with us here today. Are you glad to be on the set today?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Yes, and next, Peyton. Peyton, is that you? Is that you, Peyton? Oh, isn't that wonderful? Are you going to clap when you know that's you? Yes, we're so glad to have you with us today. Oh, thank you. And Brittany, the mom of this little darling family.
Yes.
And this isn't all. We're missing one today who's gone to church camp.
That's right, Ashley.
Ashley, and we're going to talk about Ashley and let you tell us how old she is and some of the things that she's been into while y'all are here in Grand Prairie, Texas. And the reason for this blessed interview is that you and Jason are making a move, religiously speaking, because Jason is our minister at the Burbank Gardens Church of Christ, and all of a sudden he's got a calling to go to, I believe, Wichita, Kansas.
That's right.
And that's a long way from Grand Prairie, Texas. So we wanted to do a personal interview with you all. You have meant so much to the city of Grand Prairie, to the northeast area of Grand Prairie. And so we're going to begin, I guess, first of all, Jason, with you. And I'd like for you to look out into your camera over there where Raul is cluing you in.
Okay.
And I'd like to tell us a little bit about Jason, where he was born, name your parents, and then we'll get into a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, my name is, of course, Jason Alton, and I was born while my father was stationed in Bitburg, Germany. So I was born there, and of course, after he did his tour, we moved back to the States, and my parents, David Paul Alton, and my mother Diana.
Diana, give her a maiden name.
Nunn.
All right.
Diana
wonderful.
K. Nunn.
Okay.
And,
wonderful. And did you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have a brother, Aaron Alton, and he's right now living in Michigan.
Okay. All right. Now, Jason, where did you go to elementary school?
Well, I went to elementary school and most of junior high in Michigan, in the Detroit metropolitan area.
All right.
And then moved with my mother to Amarillo, Texas, and that's where I went to high school.
Amarillo, Texas.
And finished middle school as well.
Okay. And I know that I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about going to the preaching school that you went to in Irving and the other, but I'm going to hold you in abeyance for just a minute. Let's get to Miss Brittany. Brittany, we want to get you in on your history because finally we're going to get to the point where you all meet, but right now we want to talk about the real Brittany. And if you would look out and tell us about your beginnings and your parents and if you have any brothers or sisters.
Well, my name is Brittany Alton. I was born in Marietta, Georgia, and I became a native Texan at the age of 4. And I went to elementary school in various different places, Vidor, Texas, and I went to high school in Canyon, Texas. That's near Amarillo, Texas. That's where I met Jason Alton. And I have, my parents are Brenda Gonaware and H.D. Gonaware. I have an older sister, Becky, and an older sister, Jennifer, and a younger brother, Brad. And they all live in Texas and pretty close together.
That's wonderful. Okay. And in the West Texas area when you graduated, how did you two meet? Let's let you tell the part about how you and Jason met.
In the hallway at high school.
Oh, in the hallway at high school. What was the high school?
Randall High School. It was its first year.
First year, Randall. And when you were going to high school, did you have any special subjects that were your favorite or favorite teachers out there at Amarillo?
Well, I enjoyed English, and I enjoyed music, and I was on the annual staff.
Oh, well, great.
Varsity cheerleader.
And when you saw Jason, was this something immediate, or was this over a long time courtship?
It was immediate.
Pretty immediate.
Pretty immediate.
All right, Jason, I'd like for you to comment on that. Now that we have you together in this high school in Amarillo, your favorite teachers and your favorite subjects, and what brought you all together with a common bond?
Well, you know, our common bond, I guess, was just being, you know, peers in high school for the most part. She was too modest to admit that she was actually homecoming queen.
I see.
Oh,
that impressed
so
you.
Yes, you know, a teenager, I was immediately impressed by that.
Yeah.
And we just got to know each other over the course of a year. And
did you have classes together?
Yeah, we had a couple of classes together. We had biology class together in 10th grade, and I think we did an annual staff together, though I really wasn't as involved in that part of it as she was.
Yes.
As far as my favorite subjects, well, I wasn't the most diligent high school student. I didn't get serious about school till later.
Till later.
So, you know, some of the kids say, well, my favorite subject is lunch.
And recess.
And recess, that's right. Well, you know, but I have come to appreciate what I had learned in English. I guess I was probably best in math, that sort of thing.
That's wonderful. And when you all married, where did you settle down?
Well, we settled down for a pretty short while in Greenville, Texas. We were actually married at the Johnson Street Church of Christ out there.
Yeah.
And so we moved from there. I guess we stayed there for about a year and a half or 2 years, and then moved to Michigan.
Then to Michigan.
Yes, to Michigan.
Oh, what was it like to live in Michigan, Brittany?
Pure shock.
It was cold, wasn't it?
It was very cold, but it was nice. Pretty autumns.
Okay, all right. I think we just really do need to talk with Peyton just a minute. Peyton? Peyton, could you tell us how old you are? Can you say 2 or 3? Are you 3? You're 3 already? Okay. Do you go to Tuesday, Thursday school?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Do you have a teacher at Tuesday, Thursday school that's your favorite? Who is your favorite teacher?
I know her name.
Can you say it real big and loud?
Yeah.
All right.
She has a reading club.
She has a reading club. Oh, that is good. Do you like to go to reading club? Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit with Stetson. Stetson, how old are you today?
6.5, going on 7 in a few weeks.
You're going to be 7 in a few weeks. Oh, yes. Did you go to school here in Grand Prairie, Texas while y'all were living here?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you go?
Fannin Elementary.
Fannin Elementary. Who were your favorite teachers at Fannin Elementary?
Miss Crow, Miss Hester, Miss Dickinson.
Oh, that's pretty good, yes. Did you have a real favorite subject at Fannin?
Miss Crow.
Miss Crow's class? Yes. Was that fun? How about learning to read? Was that fun? Was that more fun than trying to learn math?
Right there. Well, math is one of my favorite subjects.
Oh, math is one of your favorites. Oh, that is great. And what has it been like to live in Grand Prairie, Texas?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, pretty good. Okay. We're going to get back with you in a little bit and talk with you about what it's going to be like to move to Wichita. But we need to get back to your parents. And Jason, what brought you to the Metroplex?
Well, the Center for Christian Education was really the thing that brought us here. We were in Michigan, and it's really there that I decided, after getting more and more involved with our local church there, that that really the thing that I most wanted to do, the thing that I really felt called to do, was to become a minister. And at that time, I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to do preaching, what kind of ministry.
Yeah.
But I came to realize that the Center for Christian Education in Irving was the place I needed to go to get the Bible training and the some of the other basic skills necessary to do effective full-time ministry.
Okay.
So that was the big pull.
And that was in what magic year that you came first to the Christian Center for Christian Education in Irving?
That would be
about 6 years ago?
1994.
1994.
Yes.
All right, Brittany, you're in Michigan, and all of a sudden he says, "Let's go to Irving." Did you pack up and follow willingly?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I was all for it. I was able to be near my family again. I really missed being near them.
And they're in Greenville?
They're in Greenville.
Okay.
Yes.
And so moving to the Metroplex was ideal compared to living in Michigan.
At that time, that was really great news to me.
And did you ever work out of the home or anything while he was going to preacher school, or what?
No, ma'am. My main ministry has been my children.
Been the
I've been a
children.
stay-home mom. Fortunately, God has blessed us. I've been able to stay home instead of working outside the home.
Let's talk a little bit about Ashley. Ashley is how old, and something about her today, and we didn't even bring a picture.
I didn't bring a picture.
We don't have one in your billfold.
Well, I changed purses right before we left.
Yes.
So, she's 9½,
Okay.
and she's off to Christian Camp Lee Joe Kismuth up in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma.
And she's having a blast.
And loves it?
Loves it, loves it.
And she's in what grade here in Grand Prairie?
She'll be going into the 4th grade.
She's going into the 4th. Okay. And did she go to Fannin also?
She went to Fannin Elementary.
Okay. And tell me about her teachers and all the good stuff.
Well, she had Miss Crow also. She had Miss Baker, Miss Miss Scott. Yes.
Yes.
I couldn't remember her 3rd grade teacher.
Does she have some real special subjects that she was really involved in?
She's real good in math. She's good in all our subjects. She got honor roll student, superintendent's honor roll all year long.
Oh, that's
But
great.
math is her favorite subject, I believe.
That's wonderful. Well, we miss her being on the interview today. She's a beautiful young lady.
Well, thank you.
And certainly a pride and joy. Now, let's get back. We have the family all squared away, but we need to get back with you just a little bit, Jason, about your ministry. Coming to Burbank, were you still a student preacher at that time, or had you received your blessing from the Christian Center, or what?
Well, you know, I had decided that we needed to slow down in terms of schooling. And an opportunity came at that time with Jim Rood, who was also a student at the center, was working with the Burbank Gardens Church there in the Northeast, and he said, "Hey, you know, why don't you come on over and talk to the elders?" And that was sort of the way things got started.
And so you began as a student minister, and
yes,
and then one thing led to another, and the first thing you know, Jim goes off to
That's
Idaho
right.
or wherever, and
Exactly.
and you're left in the saddle.
There I am. That's right.
And what was
That's
it
right.
like,
You know,
a young man to get a minister of a church, even though it's a small church in the Northeast area? Tell me about your reaction to that.
Well, you know, I was very comfortable with Jim being there, and a little intimidated that I might be, you know, given the reins, as it were, there. But it went very well. You know, it was the people are so loving, so generous, so easygoing, that they really, I just can't imagine a better place to be learning to do ministry than right there.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is just super. And how did this please you, Miss Brittany?
I was a little apprehensive at first. I'd never been in that role, played that role as a minister's wife, and it was my first role. But the ladies and everyone has made me feel very comfortable. I've learned a lot from them, and it's been a good experience.
And another thing, Jason, you share the building with the Head Start program, with Northeast Optimist Reading Club, with Boy Scouts and all of this. How does that meld into your ministry?
That is just another way for the church in general to just be good stewards of the building. We many times we're only meeting there a couple times a week, and so those provide us with an opportunity to use the building where we wouldn't otherwise be using it, and also, of course, with having opportunities to meet various peoples, letting the community know that we're interested in them by just letting these various groups have a place there.
That's wonderful. All right, now we had planned to let the children go and sit out in the audience and then interview the two of you, but I think I'm going to change the format and leave them here with us, and I think I can talk with you all, with the boys and girls having a good time too, so just let them enjoy themselves. But
okay.
I want
a foot in the foot
yes,
up in the camera is okay.
Yes, a foot in the camera is fine.
Okay.
I want to talk with Brittany first about her role here in the community. Now, you haven't been sitting to one side just as a minister's wife, because I know that you've been on a board or a commission appointed by a city council member. You also were elected recently as the president of the Fannin PTA. You're involved with the Northeast Optimist in the Reading Club. And tell us some of the other things, and how do you balance that as a parent and doing all of these other good things, and which was your favorite of all of the community service?
Well, my favorite would have to be working on the HCIC board, and of approximately a year, and we were able to do Help Paint a Dream.
All right.
I know you've had Help Paint a Dream on. That was working together as a community and working with different people from everywhere, from different places, all the volunteers.
All the volunteers over the city of Grand Prairie, plus your board is a 9-member board?
Yes, ma'am. I just resigned.
Oh, you just
unfortunately,
yes.
because we'll be leaving in
You'll
a few
be
weeks.
moving.
But there will be plenty to be involved in up there in Wichita, Kansas.
Do you think when you go to Wichita, Kansas, you'll be ready to volunteer to go on a board or a commission there? Or that's a pretty large city, isn't it?
Well, after a few months, I'm going to feel my way around and get to know people and get to know the people at their school.
And leaving
and
as
in the community.
Leaving as the president of the Fannin PTA, wasn't that a hard choice to make?
I had to pass that down to Kendra Roper.
Oh, and isn't she a wonderful lady?
She's wonderful. She runs the Optimist Reading Club.
And
she's wonderful. She does a lot of things.
Working with the PTA is very important. Do you plan to get started with the PTA or whatever a parents group that they have there in Wichita?
Yes, ma'am. I plan on being very involved in my children's schooling. I think it's very important.
Okay. Well, Jason, now we've let her do her community stuff, but we need to talk with you about when you first came to Grand Prairie. Did you think that you would ever want to be involved in community service, or were you just clued in on being a minister, period?
You know, I was clued in on being a minister. I knew that I wanted to do community services in general and in a broader sense than right there in the local congregational setting. So I was interested in that, but I wasn't really sure how to do that because it was just the ministry thing was enough in itself. So I got some help actually from you with getting me involved with the HCIC committee. That was sort of, I think in many ways that started the ball rolling for me.
And you were also always available when we would call on you to bring the opening prayer for the city council meetings. And you know what? That brings you into a new setting, Jason.
That's right. It does. And I got to do that. A few times, at least 2 times. Also did it for the school board as well. Yeah, those are always great ways.
Great openings, aren't
yes,
they?
they're great openings. Great opportunity to get to know new people and many different leaders in the community.
On the HIC, which is the Home Improvement Commission, of all of the things that you all accomplished, what were the favorite things that you all did?
Well, I guess our favorite thing was the Help Paint a Dream.
Help Paint a Dream.
Yes, because we had so much hands-on, so much involved in that. There was so much work, so much effort that went into that from the whole committee. However, the working with regard to the CBDG grants was a great experience as well, because we got to do
all the public hearings.
The public hearings, exactly.
Yes, you did.
Exactly. So those were you got to meet a lot of members in the communities, and that of course involved the Northeast, but also Dalworth and others were able to come as well.
Would you recommend to anyone moving into Grand Prairie to get their feet on the ground and then go into volunteerism some way in the city of Grand Prairie?
Absolutely. That is, you know, it's a civic responsibility. It is really it's a pleasure. I didn't find it. You know, most of the things that you might volunteer for, they're not demanding. You know, once a month we met for the HCIC. Of course, there were certain times where it was a little busier, but generally speaking, it was always a very positive experience. You never felt like you were being all used up and spent too quickly. It was a great experience in that regard. And then, of course, the opportunity to meet all kinds of different people and to have input on what is happening in your community.
How about Wichita, Kansas?
I'm looking forward to it.
Is that closer to a family, or why did you go in that direction?
You know what?
The Lord sends you in strange places.
That's right. I would not have thought that, you know, there would have been a few states that would not have occurred to me to move to. But it was just the right people at the right time, with a situation that seemed to match very well with my family and, of course, that church family. So that's really what it was. We looked past the geography pretty quickly because of that.
All right, Brittany, moving to Wichita, Kansas, you are going to follow him along.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Sure
right.
am.
Do you already have a home there being prepared for you, or are you all going
We're
up
in
to
the process.
You're in the process. Okay. That sounds like a real exciting adventure. How long is it going to take you to pack up everything here in Grand Prairie, Texas, and sojourn, and when are you leaving?
Well, I've already started packing little by little. I'm sure the last week will be the big packing week. July 23rd will be our last Sunday here.
I know they're having a big blowout at the church for you all on the,
Oh, they are?
23rd. Isn't that going to be fun?
Oh, great, yes.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. They're always good to us.
Yes, okay. And what does your family think about this? Now, see, you're moving
happy.
from Greenville.
I know. They're happy about it. They're going to be able to come see me. It's only 5.5 hours away, so that's not a big trip. They're able to do that, and I'm sure they'll be up to visit. I'll see them plenty.
Okay.
They're happy for me.
All right. How about your family?
I'm no closer, no further from any of them.
Because they're all in the Michigan area, and
in the Michigan area or in Amarillo.
Oh,
and
I see.
I'm in Wichita. I'm as far north, no further east, and no further north than I was south. So it's 6 hours.
And are
either
you
way.
going to send them all a little note and say, y'all come out here to Wichita and let's hear me preach? How about that?
I hope they will.
Oh,
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. And Jason, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I am it. I am doing exactly what I want to be doing.
You're doing what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Exactly, and you know, and I love that, because, you know, I wondered what I'd be when I grew up for
a long time.
For a long time. It seemed like a long time to me. I guess maybe it wasn't for a lot of folks, but I didn't know until my early 20s what I wanted to do, and then to be able to decide and know that that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So that's kind of a settling thing.
Who was your greatest encourager in making that decision?
You know what? There were so many people. I'd almost hesitate to name one particular. There was a preacher and his family where we came from in Michigan. However, when it comes down to it, it's the people closest to you that make the biggest difference.
Yes.
So I'd have to say that it's Brittany in that case.
Yes, she's a pretty big influence.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. See, she carries that torch. Isn't that great?
That's right.
All right.
She's been a great support.
And for the young people that may be watching the show that haven't decided what they want to do in the way of, maybe they haven't even finished their informal education as well as their formal, what would you have a little word or two to say to them, and look right out into your camera to the young folks that you would like to encourage to keep on the straight and narrow so that they can pursue something exciting?
Well, you know, I hope that I guess my advice in that case is really begin to think about the gifts, the talents that God has given you, and begin to think about where you might be able to apply those and in what way they may be best used. That was sort of the way that I began, and so that's very similar to, I sort of already took this advice, and so I'll pass it along. God led me, of course, through all of that, but it was, a lot of it was through just seeing what gifts and what talents, what He had given me as sort of a raw abilities, and then began to work on fine-tuning those.
How about their attitude about their parents? That's something that could be really important to some young people. I'd like for you to give them a word of encouragement on that.
Parents have a tremendous influence, of course, and our attitude toward them, especially when we're younger, can be kind of rebellious. We can take we have sort of a, we want to figure this out ourselves, and that's fine. And in many respects, we need to do that as we grow older. But let's not forget that our parents have some wisdom to offer us. And really, many times, I believe that God is speaking right through the parents to their kids.
That's wonderful. All right, Brittany, as a wonderful young lady, would you like to speak to the young people about anything that you'd like to say to them to encourage them to do whatever they have in their sights that's exciting?
Exciting. Well, always keep God first. Stay focused. Believe in yourself. And pursue your dreams. And be diligent in that.
Okay. And you will always want to be a minister's wife if he is being a minister. Do you have any other gifts or talents that you might pursue when the children get a little older?
Yes, I think I would like to pursue counseling.
Okay.
Possibly teaching.
Counseling and teaching, and you know that would fit right in with the ministry of the day, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I want to thank you all as a little family, and please tell Miss Ashley how we missed her in this interview, but we know that she's having a big time at camp and all of the good things. And Jason, as a final thing, would you like to say anything about thanking the City of Grand Prairie for letting you be here?
Absolutely. I am grateful to the city, to the leaders of the city who have been very helpful and useful as resources available at many times. It's been a privilege for me to be a part of this community. It's been easy as a result of the leaders in the community for me to be a part of it and to be actively involved in it. And so I am indeed grateful for that. And of course, as I'm leaving Burbank Gardens, I am grateful to them as well, because they've been a part of this community, this city, for many, many years, and have been blessing the community, and I think have been blessed by the community as well.
That's wonderful. You did all of that good stuff, Miss Brittany?
Yes, and I want to thank you personally for appointing me to the HCIC Commission Board.
You're just welcome as flowers in May. I'm sad that I'm going to have to fill a vacancy now that you're going to Wichita, Kansas.
Yes.
And having you all to share a time on that board has really been meaningful, because having the point of view of both a male and a female has been a wonderful experience for them and for us. I want to thank you all for being here. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.